Maintaining a house or a homestead requires constant attention. So I thought I would give a view of what happens on a daily basis between need to do and projects to make the place more livable. First, I woke up to strong winds that came before a heavy rain that was crossing the country. The wind was strong but not consistent, and the last thing I wanted was my corn to get blown over. And so, the mini greenhouse cover served one last purpose, acting as a windbreak to shelter the growing corn. The next day was calmer, and I realized I needed to put up trellis strings in the threefold companion bed of cucumbers, loofah, and peas. Some of the string had survived the last growing season, but not enough, and I didn't want these three climbers to compete with each other. Lots of climbing string would make it easy to find each vegetable's fruit to harvest. It didn't take long, and that bed was set. Also, as soon as I put up the trellis for the pole beans, they instantly took to it and have begun to climb. Then, the winner of my 2-cup tomato growing experiment was definitely the ones I started outside. It doesn't mean the 2-cup method failed, just that it was a warm winter and it was easier to start tomatoes outside. As I prepared the second bed that would house the 2-cup tomatoes, I ran into a sight that surprised even me. I discovered the biggest worm I have ever seen. It was thicker than a pencil, and evidently gorging itself on the organic matter I had placed in the bed. A very good sign. And on to actually planting the tomatoes. The shelves I've put on these beds have worked perfectly as a place to set things. Once that was done, I followed up with basil seeds in the front of the tomatoes. Now that the 2 boxes were planted, I could easily see the difference in growth between the 2. Oh yes, did I mention I got the peach tree? I knew I needed to put the peach tree in a bigger pot, which meant I might have to evict another plant. At first, I was looking at this guy under the pergola, but since the tree is still young, I decided to go with this one and evict a corn plant from the sitting area. I did my usual hugelkultur, dead sticks in the bottom of the pot, followed by crushed leaves, compost, and topsoil. I'm probably going to have to come back later to either put it in the ground or a larger pot. But for now, the idea was just to get the little fella growing. And you know how one thing leads to another. My brother gave me some bricks he no longer needed, and after repotting the peach tree near the sitting area, I could see where they would make a perfect trim for that space. I had tried using concrete as a trim, but evidently didn't do a great job. So let the digging begin. Once I started digging out the spot, I also had to remove the failed concrete. And when you dig, you also find roots. And more roots. But I got them dug out, and little by little I began the process of putting in the brick trim. One side done, and on to the next. And then the next. To complete the trim. I'll come back later and add play sand to fill in the cracks and set the pattern. And once the flowers come up in the side planter, it should be a lovely sitting retreat. Back to the garden proper to act on something I'd noticed. I put nasturtiums in with the squash to deter squash bugs, and noticed with the extra shade they flowered sooner. So I made a point of adding marigolds to the nasturtium bed as a shade cover that will also help fill out the bed. All in all, it's been a busy week with a lot more to come. See you next time.